And welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you are enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. So for the most part, I am still looking for the potential of looking for this extension to the upside here. The problem that we're starting to get within this move is it is starting to get quite choppy in this little area over here. So we just need to be aware that, we need to be on the lookout that this could actually progress down as a bigger move like this, as a bigger three-wave move to the downside. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this for as long as we hold some of these key areas like this low here of this 22,722 and this low here of this 23,020. We can still look for this potentially to play out as a bigger five-wave structure. But once we start to lose these key zones, this move starts to become quite big. And, if we lose this area here, the only way we can really look at it is if we've had another connector wave and a move down one more time. Otherwise, we'd have to look at this, like I said, as a bigger connector wave here, which will probably take us down and take this low here, this 21,351. So we need to be a little bit cautious of that. If we did get a bigger move down like that, what we'd be looking for potentially would be coming into this target range here, this 20,757 to this 17,104. So we just need to be a little bit cautious about that. So we were talking about yesterday the possibility that we could be looking for some upside here. Looking at this, we were looking for that potential to actually come back up here for another fifth wave, but we didn't actually end up doing that. So for the most part, it would probably just be have to say that we had a fourth in here as a triangle and a fifth wave here, and that was completed into those highs. So I'm still looking at this possibility for now. This is this is still possible for as long as we hold this 23,226. Once we start to lose this zone, it becomes more likely we're actually going to move down here and break through these lows of this wave 2, which would be this 23 and 20 with 3 cents. So what we'd be looking for, if we want to look at this bullishly, um, it's not really a great deal here to go on. You could argue that you have a diagonal here, but really this would want to start moving away now. Failing to hold this zone here, really, once we start to break this 23,300, you could still argue that this is an A, a B, and a C. Um, but it starts to get quite big in itself. So, we need to just be aware that once these structures start to become quite large in comparison to like the wave one, then starts to become less likely that they're going to be playing out. For the most part, we could argue that there's already an additional 1-2 here, but really, if that's the case, we'd want to start to see this push to the upside. And what we'd want to see is a nice clean move above this 24,145 to begin with. And that would be looking at this then potentially looking at a 1-2 up in here for a 3, looking for that fourth and then a fifth to the upside. So we'd want to start to see some impulsive movements coming in here if we are looking at this as an additional 1-2. Otherwise, this has got to just become a connector wave here. And then we're looking for that additional push to the downside. So that key zone to hold would be this 23,226. Pushing down below that makes it less likely that we're in a wave 2. But sometimes these things do happen. Really, invalidation only comes by crossing that 23,020. If we do manage to find support, what we'd be looking for would be evidence that we are making our way up here towards this green count blue line, which would be this 24,908. So that would be looking for a 1.618 of this first move here. So if we do move up into this zone, we'd be looking for that evidence of a fourth and then looking for that fifth to the upside. If we do get that, then obviously we can start to count this additional structure here where this becomes a 1, 2. We're looking for that as a 3, looking for a fourth and a fifth wave to the upside. And then we'd have to be cautious with this because this could just be if we just get a smaller move developed like this could just be an A, a B, and a C. And we need to just be aware that there is still that possibility from further back here. We have a bigger corrective move, something like this, playing out where we could still look for a five-wave structure down, and we could be looking to come back into the zone. But for the most part, I am still looking for, as long as we hold those key bullish areas, which would be this. So on the, if we're looking for a direct move up, it would be this 22,722, and then the lower range would be this 21,351. On the shorter term, like I said, we got that 23 and 20. Once you start to lose that, the structure starts to fall apart. It wouldn't really invalidate though until we actually cross this 22,722. So just bear that in mind. We could still see this play out, even if we do get another move to the downside, but it would be very choppy, and I don't really like the structure within that. So we need to start to see these pushes to the upside here. Otherwise, the potential that we've got a more corrective move becomes more likely, and that would be looking at this move in this manner. So I'd be looking at this as basically a WXY into this low here. And then from that point, what I'd be looking for is the potential of having a connector wave in here. So I've thrown this channel on here, connecting these bottoms and put it onto these high points up here. And we can see here that this actually falls within this red box zone. That 618 falls right on that channel, so that'll be an interesting area to watch. And this could be a zone where we could look for rejection. We did actually come up to exactly to that 1-to-1 that we talked about yesterday, this 2401. So it is possible that we could then look to get a breakdown here, and either this could then become a bigger move where this is actually an A wave, we come back down for a B wave, and then we get a push back up for a C wave, and we look to target out this zone. So the key zone that I'm looking for support here. So this is slightly different to the other count, because the other count is looking for the fact that it has to hold this low, looking for this as a potential 1-2 again. So within this structure, what I'm looking at is this 23,350 to this 22,990. If we do manage to hold this zone, we can look at this still as having some potential for the upside, where this becomes an A, we come back down for a B, and then actually we look to push up for a C wave. So this would fail to achieve that impulsive target that we're looking for. But we'd be looking for, see, this would bring us actually, if we came back down to the 618, it would actually bring us at a 1-to-1 right into this golden pocket. So keep an eye on that. If we do move down one more time here, potentially we could actually look for, I'm just going to actually throw a mark on this for a second. We could actually look for the case where this B wave here isn't quite completed, and actually what we have is something like this, where this is an A, this is a B, and then we get that push down for a C. So this will be a key zone to sort of keep an eye on. If we do move down into this zone, 1-to-1 would actually bring us here to this 23,102. If it does extend out slightly, potentially we could look for support on this 786, or a retest of this low point here at this 23 and 20 cent. So those are some areas to keep an eye on. If we do actually break down below this, then we'd have to start looking at what structure has developed at that point. At the moment, it's just looking corrective, but these things can always change. This could form another 1-2 here, and then next thing we're off to the races, where this becomes a 1-2, 1-2, and then it starts to break down. But for the time being, we don't have that structure. So I'd be looking out for that possibility, like I said, that we have a bigger move here where this becomes an a B, and potentially a C or a WXY. And then we could also look for that potential sell-off again from that point. So keeping an eye on this channel, if this does hold, what we could then see is a move back down towards the bottom of this channel line, looking at this as a bigger corrective structure, as a W, an X, and a Y potentially. Alternatively, it could be a five-wave move, and then it would be an ABC, but would be looking probably for that W, X, and a Y in this instance, just because of the slope of the move currently. These things can obviously always change if we break the channels, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether we actually start to get that rally from here, or whether this starts to break down and we start to lose that key area that we're looking for those bullish potentials. So keep an eye on this, because this could all then, so on a bigger scale here, if I just turn off some of these things here, uh, I'll leave that there for now. If we're looking at this on a bigger scale, we could get something like this where this becomes an A, B, and a C. We move to the downside, then we form another corrective pattern up here in a three-wave structure, potentially try and challenge these zones again, and then actually look for a continuation to the downside into this box area. So that's what I'm looking out for. If this does start to break down deeper, then we could start looking at these possibilities. We were also talking about the possibility in the previous video that we could be looking at a five-wave move down. It hasn't really materialized good structure here at the moment. Um, the only way you could potentially look at it is that you had another 1-2 within here, but then you have this weird like triangle in the middle which doesn't really fit the criteria. So I'm not in a rush to call this a five-wave move here. Um, but it can always change and prove itself. These things do happen. That sometimes we'll get this move, and then it's only once we start to break down that it starts to make more sense. Where we get an additional 1-2 over here, and then actually we break down for a third, fourth, fifth, then these subwaves start to make more sense because we've actually reached the targets and they start to get going more. So keep an eye on this. If we start to break down below these 21,966 and this zone of this 22,213, we could start looking for more evidence that we're within this. But at the moment, it just looks like a corrective mess. So I'm not really worrying too much about it in the sense of doing the count, just because of the fact that we've got all this overlap in here, so it's looking less likely that it's a five-wave move off of the current information. But we'll keep an eye on it. If we do get a bigger five-wave move down here, we need to be aware that we were talking about the fact that if this is a fourth wave, that could be the fourth wave high, and then we could actually be looking to start to form a bigger impulsive move to the downside, in which case, we'd have to start arguing that potentially we could be looking for a diagonal or something where this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and then we get a wave 2, and then we break down. So at the moment, there isn't clear structure for it, but it is possible we could see something like this develop where we start to form some diagonal structure within here. And then we actually look for that bigger drop to the downside at a later point. Either way, we'd still be looking for that potential to have a retracement up, potentially back test this channel line if that does play out, and then look for that continuation down. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. There isn't good structure there at the moment, but yeah, we'll keep you up to date. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave the video there. We've got our key areas we need to hold, and yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, leave us some feedback down below. In the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It really is a great place. It is free to join, so once you're in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Also in the description, you'll find affiliate links for BYBIT and PrimeXBT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out if you don't have an account. Using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.